tasks, getting things done. One of the biggest things I hear, I'm chasing too many rabbits. Things are not working. Well, this system is for you. That's why I teach it. 20 years of teaching. We're putting this together to show you how you can acquire tasks, how you can acquire skills to do wonderful things. And we're going to use me as an example. We're going to talk about being fluent in Spanish. I just got back from Colombia. I was spending some time in Palomino. I absolutely love it. It looks like I'm going to get a place there. I've got a place in Ibagué and Bogota now. My wife's Colombian, and I love South America. It's just awesome. So in order to do that, I want to become fluent in Spanish. I'm about a 3 to 4 out of 10, maybe a 5. I'm pretty good in Spanish, but I want to get fluent. So how do we do that? Well, first we have a mission and we have a vision. What is our mission is what we're going to do. Our vision is who we're going to become. So when I look at my vision, I'm going to say, I want to be somebody that's fluent in Spanish. So that's something I want to become. Yeah, it could be something I want to do, but I'm going to put it in my vision. I wanted to run a 3:30 marathon. I ran a 3:27, qualified for Boston in 1 year as a runner, year and a half. And so my vision was complete in April. So now it's like, okay, I want to really expand my vision of who I want to become. And it could be a good father, a good parent, could be anything that your vision is. That will help you. And for Morning Coach members, I've got a planning system that's coming year end that's just going to blow you away. You'll get that here soon. We're actually going to be sending out how to get signed up for that. But it's going to help you identify that. And I don't want to get too in depth here because I just want to show you how the system works overall. And then I want to go upstairs and use our companion software and show how I put all this in to make sure I'm not chasing too many things. I'm focused and I'm executing and getting skill acquisition so that I can make this autonomous, which you're going to hear about. And that way it's now a part of my life. I'm now fluent in Spanish and I can do other things. Okay, so we got a mission. What are you going to do? And for those of you that don't know my mission, we're halfway there. I want to put 800 people in Morning Coach. I started that last year. Very selective, application only. We're working on building that. Vision, 3:30 marathoner, did that. Now becoming fluent in Spanish. I also want to get a little stronger. There's some things I'm doing in there, but this one we're going to talk about being fluent in Spanish. Values, does it match up? Values are what brings all this together. My values are contribution, family, faith, freedom. Freedom used to be number one. Now I'm really about contribution. That's why I'm so dedicated, kind of coming out of semi-retirement, growing Morning Coach again, because I want to have contribution. And we have made a decision. We're going to give all of our money when we pass away to animals. So I want to create no-kill shelters. So now I'm ready to build my business, my mission, right? So in having that, then these values, that works. Fluent in Spanish is important because there's a good chance that within the next year or two, I may do Morning Coach in Espanol. I've done almost 6,000 coach casts over the last 20 years, and I'm really close to be able to do it in Spanish. And that investment is going to allow me to contribute to a whole new wealth of people to be able to speak in Spanish, speak the language of the people that I love in South America, all over the world that speak Spanish, Spain. So I'm going to be working on that so it does fit into my values. That leads me to expectations. So expectations is pretty new. If you've been with me, this is something we haven't spoken about. And expectations are really then we can pass this through to others so they know what they're expecting from you and what you're trying to do. This is big with work. I have somebody that I was speaking at in Colombia. I did a big event down there, and I was keynoting for somebody's mastermind. And I talked about this structure, and I talked about expectations, and it literally changed his whole outlook on things. He said, I need to build this with my team. I need to do this with my business partners and really make sure we're all on the same page. And that's what happens. Scope creep and a lot of relationships crumble because this structure is not in place. Okay? So once we have that in place, we can then move to goals. We all know what goals are. I do like Rick Jarrow. He calls this trajectories. Sometimes a goal can get negative. Like I hit the Boston Marathon qualifier, 33,000 people, like 14,000 men. I made it in, but 9,000 people didn't get in because only 24,000 out of 33 could get in. So it could be negative. So a trajectory means I was heading that direction. I hit the goal of the 3:30, but I didn't actually get in the race, so that could be negative. So I do like the idea of a trajectory, but in our terms, we do call them goals. Just a little vernacular thing there. So again, what is the goal? Well, my vision is to become fluent in Spanish, so that will be the goal. Okay, the goal is let's get fluent in Spanish. So yes, it can be part of your vision, and it can come down as part of your goal. So once that happens, now we have the goal identified, we come to the project level. This is the big issue, right? You can have as many goals as you want, and you're going to see that as I take you into the software. You can have as many goals as you want. The projects are where things break down. This is where everybody has an issue. They have way too many projects going on. That's why I wrote the book, The Sacred Six. It's back here called El Sacro Six. That's actually in Italian, but the original book was in English. the Sacred Six, and it's really about aligning those projects that are going to help us hit our mission and vision. The software I have now actually helps you do that. But for us, if you're not using software, you can do this yourself by analyzing how many projects you got going on. So when you're analyzing all your goals, if they don't match your mission and vision, we want to be working on goals that are taking us to our mission and vision. What are we going to do? Who are we going to be able to, who are we going to become? If it's not taking you there, then you shouldn't have it on your list right now. Okay? You shouldn't have it on your list. There can be bucket list things, but we want to focus on things that are going to help you acquire skills, that are going to help you develop as an individual, or even better, take this system and apply it to your team. So now your team's growing and they're getting skills and you're having more employees that buy into this. And now all of a sudden they're getting structure and you have mission and vision. If we go way back to Good to Great and all of Jim Collins' awesome work, that was really the structure that he came up with was, hey, we need a mission and vision that actually makes sense that people buy into. Okay, but let's get back to the individual level. Spanish, okay, so I want to be fluent in Spanish. So that means we've got to get a project, we've got to create a process, I got to track the consistency, and eventually it'll be autonomous. This is any skill or task. When you give it to somebody, you need to give them a process, you need to see if they're doing it consistently, and then it'll become autonomous. If it doesn't, and it's not consistent, if it happens once, we need to check it, okay? If it happens twice and we're not consistent, then we need to review. What is going on? Why are we not consistent? Why are we not getting the fluency in Spanish? And if finally it's not, the third thing that happens, like say I'm trying to become consistent and 3 days in a row I don't do it, we need to change the process. It's not working. So this is all skill enhancement ideas. You need to have structure to what you're doing. That's why I've been able to add so many skills over the past 20 years, whether it's golf, whether it's my boating, which is a new thing that I got into, whether it's flying, being a pilot, all these are skill enhancements, right? They're all skills. And if you have a process, things work. So let's get into our process. So we have a projects. The projects that are going to come out of this goal of being fluent in Spanish are get education and then execute, okay? Get education and then execute. So now we've got 2 projects. Now, if you have a bunch of projects, you could see where that's a problem because this education piece, getting the education, is just a one-time project. It's going to go off pretty quick, and you'll see why in a minute, where the execution is a continual system. This is something I'm going to have to do consistently until I reach autonomy, which makes me fluent. Okay, so what are the tasks now? We get to the task level. We've got to sign up for baseline. And this is where you can use ChatGPT and use AI. You can say, hey, I'm trying to become fluent in Spanish. What are some tools, some things that I can do? So baseline is a system where you talk and speak to a native speaker, and you do it for me. I'll show you in a minute, but I need to sign up for that. So you're actually having a conversation with a native speaker. It's like $180 a month. Rocket Spanish is a grammar platform that will help me learn the grammar. And then Yabla is another listening platform to get audio immersion in Colombian Spanish, which I want to listen to. That's one project. So as you can see, these tasks are pretty easy. I could do it in an hour. They're going to be off the system once I do them. Okay, so that project will fall off my task, and then I can go into execution. And the execution then is 6 days a week. So if I'm doing it consistently and I take Sundays off, that's still consistent. If you're weight training 3 times a week, and you're doing that consistently, that's still consistency. Eventually, you can take it out of your processes, and it will be autonomous. Like running for me, qualified for the Boston Marathon. Right now, my running is autonomous. I don't need real structure. I don't need a plan. It just works. I'm a Boston qualified runner, right? I'm elite in that area because I went through this process. Golf? Okay, if I get back to that, I'm a 10 handicap. Yes, I probably need, if I want to get into golf again, a process and work on it consistently to become automatic. I can go play, but I'm not at the level that I'd like to be at because I'm not playing as much. But again, anything. So now, Spanish, we're building the process. What's the process? 30 minutes, a live convo a day, 6 days a week with baseline. Okay, so that's going to be a reoccurring task. I'll show you how to do that in our system in a minute. If you're doing this on your Remarkable or our planning systems that you're using, then what you want to do is just put this in your task. And then what you're going to have is in your consistency area, Spanish, right? And you're going to check it off every day, or you're going to keep the total numbers in a row that you do. That's really important. And even if you miss Sunday, that's okay. That's considered a day because you're consistently doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so we got a 30-minute live combo. That's a task. 10-minute grammar review with Baseline and Anki. That's a task. And Rocket Spanish. 50-minute listening immersion with Yabla. That's a task. And 5-minute of journaling. That adds up to an hour, I think. No, that's actually 30, 40, 60 minutes. So that is an execution plan to become fluent in Spanish. And then I got once per week, watch a Spanish movie with subtitles. So now if I do this and I do the process, which I do it consistently, I will become fluent in Spanish and it'll eventually be automatic. Then this system can go away. The vision is gone because I already did it. So now I can work on a new vision and I can put something else that's important to me. And so then we can do the whole system again as we do that. And we do that every year. But the great thing about the Morning Coach system and the things we do is that you can transition this. You can change it if something happens at any time. And then we're always looking at our values and redoing things at the beginning of the year. And like I said, I have a reset program coming up in the year that is just going to blow your mind away. We're going to be working together on that. So this is the basis. You've got skill acquisition or living a great life, right? Living a life with peace, joy, and happiness is about figuring out what you want to do, doing things that give you more energy, get things that take energy away, and then getting a vision in place of who you want to become. Those two things are huge. And we just do it over the next 12 months. Get the expectations alignment so everybody knows what's going on. That's going to build the relationships for you. Set the goals. Okay, and then you can have as many goals as you want, but analyze the project level. We can't be working on so many things. This whole system is designed to help you say no. Help you say no, okay, to things. Very important. But then once you get the project level, okay, and again, people always say, well, when do I start prioritizing my goals? You prioritize the ones that are going to help you hit your mission and vision the fastest. You don't need to do all your goals and put them all out, unless you're Jürgen, our German engineer. I love Jürgen, I love you, who literally sent me like a 70-page plan. You can do this just based on the initial goals. We usually say like top 3. Our software is developed for top 3, and that way you've got some structure, and that's going to limit projects. When you have goals, literally, like you can see, there's 2 in this one goal. So some projects have 3 or 4 things, and if we're working on 6 to 8 projects a day, we're limited. So we've really got to have perspective and priorities, which we talk about every morning at morningcoach.com. Right? Okay, so we're good. Mission, vision, you understand this. You can use this with your planning system. You can use it with our workbook, our planning workbook at morningcoach.com. Now what I want to do is take you upstairs to the software that we have created. We got 21 new users in it. I'm really excited about what we're doing with the software. I'm going to show you how I take this, now implement it in our daily tracking software and our software that helps me stay organized and has really changed my life. So again, here we go. We got this. So let's take the next step and head upstairs and do the in the office so you can see what it's like in the computer. Okay, welcome up here to my office in the computer. We're going to go through now the Companion software and show you how I'm going to take what I just showed you, put it in the software that I use every morning to really get organized. Now, if you're interested in this, we are bringing a few people into the software, but it is application only at this time because we're in beta. You can find that information at morningcoach.com. But let's look in the computer here, and now we can see that we have a overview dashboard. So when I go into my overview dashboard, I want to see my mission and my vision. So I want to go ahead and edit my vision. So I'm going to click edit. And at the bottom here, I'm going to put fluent in Spanish and be fluent in Spanish. It's already there. I just put it in, but let's just go ahead and show you how we do that. And be fluent in Spanish. Now, if I wanted to, and I accept this, okay, and I accept this, I come over here and I accept this vision. If I press this button here, this is going to use our AI to go out and build our goals. I'm not going to do that. You can see our vision was accepted. I'm not going to hit this. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to go in and write a new goal, which is already here, be fluent in Spanish. So it's one of my big goals, be fluent in Spanish, grammar, and speaking. So we have a goal. You're going to find that right here. And if we come into goals, you're going to see our top 3 goals. And one of them is right here, okay? So if I hit accept goal, that's going to create the projects. I already know the projects, so I don't need to create them. So I'm going to go ahead and just look at that goal and view it. And it's going to be here. And the projects are not set. So I want to go in the project stage. I could do it here, but I personally like to do it at the project stage. So I'm going to click into the project stage. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add project. And I'm going to add, the first project was education, right? So set up education, okay? So this is to set up education for Spanish. Okay, and then I'm going to create the source is manual. It's not being done automatically by the AI system. And I'm going to say in progress. I'm going to make it one of my Sacred 6 projects. And I'm going to link it to my goal of being fluent in Spanish. So I'm going to click add project. And that is going to then, in turn, put the project in the system. So now I've got setup education as one of my Sacred 6. So it's good there, right? And I can also view this, which is great. And I can see the hierarchy and see the tasks for this project. We're not going to put the tasks in yet. We're going to create another project. Okay, so we're going to come back here. And again, these are in Sacred 6. These are projects that are outside the Sacred 6. These are things that I'm currently working on. And again, with goals, you can have as many goals as you want. But the thing is, we want to make sure we're working on 3, maybe 4 that are your top goals. This system helps you organize all that. And again, there's an AI component we're not using where if you click these blue buttons, it'll actually build the tasks for you. Okay, but right now I'm doing this myself. So we have a setup education. We also want to create the project of execution of Spanish. So we're going to put that in here. And this is the daily activities. Again, what is the source? This is me putting it in manually. And the status is in progress. It's going to be Sacred 6. And we are going to link it to Fluent in Spanish. So now that we have our projects in place, we have the 2 projects that we showed you on the board. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the next step and we're going to go into tasks. Okay, so if we go into tasks, I'm going to go ahead and come in here and add a task. And we are going to add a task, sign up for baseline. Okay, and that is our Spanish software, The source, again, this is not the companion, it's not Coach Me. These are different AI things you'll learn in the software, but we're going to go ahead and say it's a manual input, in progress, priority is high. We'll say the due date, we don't need a due date, but I am going to make it a today's task, and we are going to link it to a project, and we're going to make it to education of Spanish, right? Setup education. So setup education. I am going to add that task. So that task is now going to show up on my daily task list to do. Now in the morning, the key is to look at this and to set up your tasks. Right here we have sign up for baseline. These are other tasks that I need to do, but right now these are the things I need to work on. In fact, here's a video on Spanish that I'm doing right now. So let's go ahead and add another task. And again, the Coach Me button is something that'll look at everything that has going on. It'll actually create tasks for you. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to keep going. Our next task is Eubla. Sign up for Eubla. Sign up for Eubla. Okay? So now that I'm signing up for Eubla Colombian, I'm going to go down here and pick the source, which would be manual. I'm going to click the status in progress. I'm going to make the priority high. I'm not going to worry about a due date. I am going to create today's task. And I'm going to go down here to set up education, and we're going to add that. So now I have a hierarchy. Everything is set up for that project. As we complete that, we can just go ahead and archive it. We'll have the archive, the completion in our archive area. We have completed tasks, and then we have a library archive. So as we complete it, we've got everything here of everything that we're working on in our life and the structure that we're doing. So again, if I go into goals and I click on view this goal, okay, I'm fluent in Spanish, it is going to pull up the projects that are tasked to the goal, okay? So then I just go back to the goals page, and if I go into projects, okay, we've got a project, let's see, set up education. If I view that project, okay, it's going to come up. You're going to see the tasks that are set up with that. So we have a hierarchy of everything that I did on the board, structured and ready to go. So in the morning, I can come into my overview dashboard. I can review my mission, my vision, my goals, my values, and then I can go into home, and my home page is going to have everything I need right here that I'm doing, and even has a listen to the CoachCast button, which is our daily coaching, which you can come in here, listen to the CoachCast, get your compass and everything ready to go. So everything's built in here. What about the reoccurring tasks? Well, let's go in here and look. So we've got some daily execution things like 30 minutes. So I'm going to show you this next. Is if I want to do a reoccurring task, I come down to reoccurring, and I'm going to add a reoccurring task. It's actually in here already. So if I add this, and it's set up. Let's just edit it so you can kind of see. We have 30 minutes live discussion. You did 30 minutes. Monday through Saturday is the reoccurring. You can do monthly, quarterly, yearly. It's in progress, rearing to task. It's high, and I can click it as today's task. I can also link it to a project, which would be execution for Spanish, so we can do that. Where is that at? Execution in Spanish. We're going to go ahead and save changes. And then as I'm setting up my morning, what I want to do is I want to click this into today's task. It's going to move it up into my main platform in my overview dashboard. And same thing as I'm setting up my morning. Oh, 10-minute grammar review. I need that. These are 2 tasks that are set up that I need to do every day. And then if we come up here to our daily task, you're going to see a 10-minute grammar review there that I already put in. And you're going to see our Basely. Oh, our Basely isn't there. Let me go ahead and sign up for that. And I'm going to hit today's task. Go ahead and put 30 minutes live discussion. Now the difference is when we are adding these tasks and we put them, there it is, 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I hit that twice. With reoccurring tasks, as you do them, okay, instead of archiving them and completing them, because there are so many, right, because you're going to be doing them every day, we don't want this archived. What you want to do, it's a reoccurring task. So when you see reoccurring task here, you're just deleting it. Reason being is when I go to set up my day tomorrow, when I'm looking at my daily task picker and I look at it and go, okay, Monday, Tuesday, okay, I need to set this up, I just hit today's task again. So reoccurring will always stay, whereas you archive, they will disappear out of here. Okay, so that's a little bit about reoccurring. So then I can come into my home and I'm ready for the day. I can just start looking at the tasks I need to do. And I can look at this and go, okay, where am I at? Okay, 30 minutes. Let me go do my 30 minutes. And again, because it is a reoccurring task, I'm going to delete that task instead of complete it. And let's say I'm doing one of these and I got my emails done for the week. I could push complete and that's going to move it to the archive. Okay? So that's a little bit about our system. That's a little bit about Morning Coach and what we do and why it's such an effective system. And if, depending on whether you use your Remarkable, I have mine, the Remarkable Move right here, which you can use and put the tasks in there. You can build this all out. You can use paper and pencil. We have people do that. Or we now have the companion software that we can work with professionals and organizations that work. It is in beta, but we are taking a few people on, and you can find out more information on that at morningcoach.com if you're a member. If not, awesome. At least this gives you a little bit more of a way of how this all system works and how I'm becoming fluent in Spanish and how I'm acquiring a task and how I set up my day every day and how this is just totally changing my life, making me more efficient, not chasing a bunch of stuff, and really having success in all areas of my life because I've got structure and a foundation of a mission of what I want to do and who I want to become. Okay, until the next video, go have a great day. Lots of love to you, and thanks for being a part of morningcoach.com.